Take three.
Take three. This is our final presentation for EDL 660. And so Marianne, do you want to start?
Hey, Marianne, this is Cerese.
I'm Cerese.
We do work for the same school, but two different sites, so we
Yes.
thought it would be easier if we just kind of did some things together because it sort of overflows.
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Why did you choose your topic or project?
So my project is about cell phone use in schools, and I chose this because it has been an ongoing problem in my daily classroom. I'm sure it's been a problem in yours.
Every classroom across
Every
America.
classroom, yes. And so we had a new cell phone policy implemented this year, and I am hoping are we talking about my overview?
No, we're just still here.
Okay. And so I chose this because I'd like to measure an increase in student production as a result of removing the cell phone distraction from their daily use in the classroom.
Awesome.
And what is your project and why did you choose it?
So my project was to implement professional development training in civic online reasoning to increase digital media literacy. Part of the reason was because I don't think many teachers are aware that according to Department of Education Code 51206.4 and California State Senate Bill -830, we're supposed to be creating civic online awareness and digital media literacy strategies and teaching them to students. So I wanted to see if any of our staff across the sites have been doing it, and if they hadn't, what I could do to help implement that in the easiest manner possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next question is, can you give me an overview of the implementation process you developed?
So I created a survey to send out to teachers to check in with them about how they are implementing their cell phone policy. Even though our school has adopted this policy, we did not have a strategy for how exactly we were rolling it out. At all. And so it was kind of left up to each teacher individually to not only implement it, but enforce it and inform the students on how that was going to work. So I guess for me, I had been making my students aware that this was coming since the first day of school. I showed them in our student handbook where we had the cell phone policy. There was a agreement/contract that the family signed when they signed their student up for school. And so it was kind of a slow rollout until we got our Yonder bags. I know this kind of rolls into some of the challenges we faced because these Yonder bags were not available from the first day of school.
We'll get to that for question
Okay,
3.
we'll get to that.
There we go.
But as far as implementing it, it was kind of a classroom by classroom, teacher by teacher basis. And so my survey was to ask each of the teachers how they were rolling this out and what exactly their policy looked like, because it is different classroom to classroom. And how about you? What is the overview of your implementation process?
The first thing I did was create an initial survey. We'll talk about the challenges about giving the survey to our staff later. But I did create that, and the survey was to gauge teacher understanding of civic online awareness and digital media literacy strategies. After doing the initial survey, my goal was to create a professional development training based on the initial survey results and create and conduct a post-implementation survey to measure the effectiveness of the training. So parts of the training would involve using skills that I have researched and looked at from Stanford History Education Group, which is now called Digital Literacy Group, and a couple others to put into place a group of teaching tools that could be used in the independent study classroom as well as the student-based classroom, so that teachers wouldn't struggle and have to look stuff up on their own because we're already pretty busy as teachers. So that's kind of it. The interest for me, of course, was the misinformation spread online, the advent of artificial intelligence, manipulated digital images, and having that confusion and inability to discern facts from fiction. So the goal was to give teachers those tools.
Okay.
What major challenges did you face during the process? I think we faced some similar ones, so we may cross-reference here.
Right. And so for me, again, I mentioned the Yonder bags. Here's a Yonder bag.
Yeah.
You are supposed to take your cell phone, you place it in the Yonder bag, they lock, and the students keep their own Yonder bag until the end of the day when they use the device to unlock it and gain access back to their cell phones. Some of the challenges with that were
Actually getting them.
getting them to buy into that. I had less of an issue with that with my students because we had been practicing up until we got the Yonder bags with okay, during this class period we're going to have our phones put away we started with a half an hour and we built up to 40 minutes and we built up to an hour. And the real challenge also came during break time when students wanted access to their phones during breaks. And so at first we said, okay, you can have your phones during breaks, and then that became problematic, and then no phones during break time, and then, it being different classroom to classroom.
Well, that was part of it, the rollout. I didn't get my Yonder pouches till a month later because they just sat here at the main office. So by the time I got them, the struggle has been much more difficult.
Yeah.
But, and I think that that's what you wanted your survey to look at. Like, what were the struggles? Because exactly what Cerese was saying, there was no real defined process for us teachers. We were supposed to implement it, and we still don't have, like, what if a student refuses?
Right.
And so we're still doing individual case by case. There has been no actual protocol developed yet.
Right.
And I think that's ultimately the goal when you get finished with this project.
Yes,
is to have a
there
protocol.
will be, yes, and across the board, across all sites, across all classrooms. In my classroom, it looks very different than I'm sure it does in your classroom. My students actually aren't required to put their phones in the bag unless they come out at an inappropriate time. And then I know when I have had students that have been removed from the classroom and sent to an independent study classroom, that teacher maybe has those bags out and they expect the student to put them away immediately when they come in the room, and then there's that back and forth and that power struggle there. Let me dial back. Another challenge I would say is students' families. Most of them agreed to this when they signed their student up for school, but then the challenges came when students were getting texts from their parents throughout the school day about various things, instead of contacting me directly or the school directly to make arrangements over that. Other challenges I'd say are
For us, I think, I have to remind myself that it's more than just what the students are doing with the phone. The big thing was, how did we even go about giving the survey to our teachers, because we have so much new staff and we have so many different ideas. And Cerese and I both, I think, 100% agree. We have not been able to survey our staff yet because it would just be met with resistance. There's been so much change at our sites. Yeah. All three sites, we opened up a brand new site in Arcata. I moved down to the Fortuna site. Everything has been kind of like a lot of new different staff and different things going on, which is
the Arcata site disassembled their classroom after 4 students were too challenging.
Yeah, it's been so much that we haven't actually been able to.
Yeah,
we're like, maybe we could do it next training, and then last month I got COVID.
You were sick.
I got COVID, so I was sick for 10 days, so we couldn't present it at our staff meeting. And the next all staff meeting, I think, is actually this Wednesday, which we are not prepared for. So I don't know how we're not gonna get it out this Wednesday either. We will, however. Gosh darn it, we're going to do it by
I hope
January
so.
because for
yes,
us,
that's when the end of the second quarter is, and that would start, the second semester, and it's kind of like a hard reset, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a lot because of all the new and different staff and new and different timelines, and really, I think, I feel like, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like I didn't know that a lot of the coursework would have to involve a lot of the staff. And putting extra pressure on any of the staff just felt like really hard for me to do. I don't know, how did you feel about that? Like, I just didn't want to burden them with anything else because
Yeah.
everybody's kind of just so many changes.
I feel like the way that our schools operate, we're like all independent islands, and so I didn't know what was going on in other classrooms and at other sites, and so yeah.
That'll be the beauty of when you finally give your survey out, and the beauty of when I give my survey out. But when I give the survey out, then we'll kind of be ready to come together and form a team and work on what we think some of the changes could be. But
well, let's talk about some of the challenges you've faced.
I think we just did together.
Just all together.
Yeah, I think we kind of did because I think my challenges were basically doing the survey was the biggest challenge for me, and knowing when the time is right, and a little bit of illness here and there, but definitely new staff, and I was in a new position.
And we're still hiring new staff.
We're still hiring new staff, and each person comes in with a whole new idea, and just being able to make it through the day sometimes has been quite interesting. I think we've had the same challenges. We are already at 10 minutes, and we're only supposed to do this for 10 minutes. So I think we've
it's 10 minutes for you and 10 minutes for me.
No, it's 5 minutes for each. Guys, just bear with us. Okay.
Let's go through
what
this.
would our changes be?
I think for me, as far as the cell phone policy goes, that this should have been discussed and kind of ironed out and started right from the get-go, from the first day of school across all sites. That would have been the biggest change that I could have made.
I think for me, if I was going to conduct another cycle of implementation, I would be, which I think I'll be able to do, and I think you will too for the spring semester, because I think we'll be really clear on what it is we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I'll be more brave about feeling like my fellow teachers and staff want me to succeed and will buy into it instead of feeling like I'm putting them out.
Right. And so
no outcomes at this point for me. How about you?
Just kind of what's working in my classroom. So I only have that data for me personally. I don't have like a whole collective for the whole for all sites and for our entire school.
And Cerese and I have talked a lot, so you know that the struggles are more difficult in my classroom.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to having for your project, I'm really looking forward to having a protocol put in place that everybody has to follow, instead of having one wellness person come in with one protocol and another person with another protocol, so that I'm just kind of lost in everybody else's protocols and not able to feel confident in my own.
So we can't really say if it was successful yet. This is ongoing for us.
Yep.
And our data will come in later in the school year.
Yep.
So.
And I don't think we can manage the change process in regard to student, staff, administration, except for how we kind of move forward with it. So we'll know more of that. We'll know more of that later, and we'll email all of you beautiful fellow humans when we kind of know that.
Yes.
That's about it for us for now.
We went a little bit over, so we lost that point, but maybe we can edit it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love and hugs.
Thanks, Al.